In this installment, we're going to be going over Thursday night football matchup between the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your Thursday night football matchup showdown slate on Draftkings between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD. Don't forget about TikTok at Chef_D91. And also remember the Patreon. Alright, if you need more DFS betting and fantasy football advice, all those links will be provided down below. The first thing we're going to get into before we go to the captains will be this injury report. Very, very important. We know the ins and outs, especially this game, because between the Ravens and the Buccaneers, we got two of the most injured teams on the field on Thursday. So we're looking at the Baltimore Ravens right now. Mark Andrews did not practice Monday and Tuesday. They've been giving him, the last past couple of weeks, they've been giving him more rest. So we're going to verify on Wednesday if he's going to be limited or walkthrough, or if he's a full participant. He's most likely going to play. They did the same thing last week for him. All right, inside linebacker Josh Bynes currently didn't practice for Monday and Tuesday. We're going to wait on news on him. We're going to wait on news on Calais Campbell as well. He hasn't practiced the last 2 days. He's a veteran, so they might be giving him rest. We're going to make sure that he's okay on Wednesday. Waiting to find out for news for that. Gus Edwards is fine. He just came back from that knee injury, and he's now the number one running back on this team. They're just limiting him, so he's fine for Thursday. And that's pretty much it, except for Rashad Bateman. We got to wait on news about Rashad Bateman. He did not practice Tuesday. If he doesn't practice Wednesday, that's going to be a big sign that he's going to be out, and that's going to lean more on Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards for this particular offense. All right, and that means we're going back to Devin Duvernay. Ronnie Stanley as well, starting tackle, didn't practice the last past 2 days. He might be out as well. All right, going to the Buccaneers, no Cameron break for this week, so Cade Otton is the number one tight end. Carlton Davis, we're waiting on news for him. If he's out, that's going to be a big hit. Mike Evans, limited. He's trending towards playing. Russell Gage is trending towards being out. He hasn't practiced Monday or Tuesday. Julio Jones is trending towards playing after getting a limited practice on Tuesday. Hopefully he comes back on Wednesday fine. And we're waiting on news for Sean Murphy-Bunting, who's the slot corner, and Antoine Winfield under concussion protocol. So we're going to wait on those two guys. Those are major pieces in the secondary to help stop this not high-powered offense, but very explosive offense that they have on Baltimore, even without Rashad Bateman. All right, Lamar Jackson is a huge factor. So now let's move on to the captains and get into this slate. All right, let's get into these captains for this slate for the Ravens going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The first person we're going to talk about, and he should be in each and every one of your lineups, will be Lamar Jackson. All right, this is a Konami code quarterback. He can throw, he can run. You got to play these type of guys. Similar to what I told you guys on Monday about Justin Fields. I know a lot of people were on the New England side. I don't know why they were 8.5 favorites. Like, let's calm it down. This is not the same Patriots team. This is why I had Bears money line. I had Bears points, all that. All right, you got to take advantage of the dual threat quarterback. Justin Fields played phenomenally. Now we get a situation here. Lamar Jackson going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are super hampered defensively. They're going to have trouble trying to stop Lamar Jackson, okay? Lamar Jackson is going to be able to throw, and he's going to be able to run, all right? We're seeing 10, 7, 12, 11, and 11 in the past 5 weeks rushing attempts. I expect a rushing TD in this game as well. Lamar Jackson is an absolute lock at captain and 100% at flex, all right? You have to have him in your lineup. Do not fade Lamar Jackson. That would be a mistake in this game going to be against a very struggling Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. All right, we're going to go next to Mike Evans. Mike Evans is trending towards playing. He saw 15 targets in that game against the Carolina Panthers, 9 for 15 for 96. He would have had a touchdown. He dropped a 75-yard touchdown. Literally, it was in his hands, and he straight bobbled it. So Mike Evans, hopefully he bounces back in this game. They need him. They need a spark. They need something to go right for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team because they are absolutely reeling, and that was an absolutely embarrassing loss against the Carolina Panthers. So Mike Evans at his salary for captain is definitely someone we can go to. Another captain that we love will be Mark Andrews. All right, Mark Andrews should have a bounce back game. He had 0 receptions, 2 targets, 0 yards. For him to get the ball, they had to rush him, and he only got 4 yards on that one. Definitely expect a totally different game from Mark Andrews already. If we look at fantasy points allowed to that tight end position, Tampa Bay is pretty decent. They are 23rd, so that's a little bit on the bad side. 23rd regular rank and 23rd in the red zone, allowing 5 catches, 53 yards, 0.4 TDs. But this is a whole different animal here, especially if we're talking about a team without Rashad Bateman. They're going to lean on Mark Andrews more. The Cleveland Browns, they had a scheme to take away Mark Andrews. That's why he didn't see the ball as much, but I think they're going to get more creative this week and try to force feed Mark Andrews that football, and they have a clear advantage. If Antoine Winfield is going to be out, Mark Andrews should be able to eat against that secondary. All right, so I love Mark Andrews as a captain play. Tom Brady, I'll bring him up. This is going to be a tough one. We would need him to go absolutely off for him to pay off a captain spot. If I want to play Tom Brady, I would move him down to the flex. All right, he has struggled. All right, he only has 8 touchdowns in his week 8. Tom Brady would have had about 15 touchdowns, 15 to 20 touchdowns already by week 8. He only has 8. That is absolutely horrible. That's absolutely horrible. So Tom Brady's obviously going through some things. The wide receiver structure, they need someone that's going to be a separator, someone that can take the top off the defense, and they don't have that. All right, Mike Evans, big body, but he doesn't have elite speed. Chris Godwin is a slot guy, and they have Julio Jones, who's old, Russell Gage, who's injured. There's a lot of question marks in the receiving core for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't pinpoint the reason why they're struggling so much, but this clearly is a sign of age. And this team has fallen, and Tom Brady has taken a hit, and we can't just bank on him like we used to bank on him. So if I'm going to play Tom Brady, it's going to have to be in the flex position. I don't think I'm putting him at all in that captain spot. He needs that other upside. We need rushing ability. We need 4 or 5 touchdowns, and I do not see that coming from this Baltimore defense, who has played better as of since like week 4. They have played much better defense since then, and this is a game that they definitely want going against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, if we're looking at another captain play, that's going to be Chris Godwin, coming back, getting full work now, coming back from his knee injury. We've seen 13 targets in week 7 and 12 targets in week 6. This man is trending higher and higher. He's looking like his old self. Hasn't gotten in the end zone yet. Then that's keeping him away from a big fantasy performance. But that can definitely happen in this game. Chris Godwin working in those seams, getting away from Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. I definitely like Chris Godwin as an option for the captain position. All right. Next captain we got will be Gus Bus Edwards. All right. Despite the fact that we think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a great run defense, if we're looking at fantasy points allowed, they struggled. The Panthers ran all over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, and things are changing now. Currently, as of right now, they're allowing 96 yards a game to the running back position, 4.4 yards a carry. That's from a strong performance earlier in the season. Now they are struggling. They allowed, let's double check this before we go on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers allowed over 100 yards rushing, and this was Chuba Hubbard and Donta Foreman in this game. We go to this box score really quick, and they ran over 170 yards rushing on this team. Both Foreman and Chuba Hubbard were getting well over 7 yards a carry, okay? And they're going to face a team that's going to run at the 6th highest rush rate in the NFL. This is going to spell problems, all right? Gus Edwards, I like in this matchup. And like I said, I love Lamar Jackson. They're going to smash that ball down their throat, especially if Rashad Bateman's out. They're going to work through the run, and then that's going to open up the passing lanes, get the ball to Devin Duvernay, get the ball to Mark Andrews there, all right? I do have to bring up one more captain. That's going to be Leonard Fournette because of his usage rate. Struggled last week against Carolina, 8-19, but still saw 2 receptions on 3 targets. But as you see, the previous weeks, he was getting 22 fantasy points, 35 fantasy points, 18 fantasy points. This is a guy that's going to see 20 plus touches per game. Leonard Fournette is a workhorse, and he definitely has upside at the captain position. All right, if they're down, they're gonna lean onto him to get receptions. As you can see, against Pittsburgh, he had 6 receptions, and against Atlanta, he had 10. KC, he had 7, and the Green Bay Packers, he had 5. So if he's struggling rushing the ball, you do expect Leonard Fournette to get the ball in the receiving game as well. Let's now move on to the flex. Next, we got the flex ops, and the first one we're going to talk about will be Rashad Bateman. I put them together, Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay, because if Bateman is out, then we definitely have to go towards Devin Duvernay. They're going to get him the ball creatively. They're going to do sweeps, end arounds, anything to get the ball in the speedster hands of Devin Duvernay, a couple screens here and there. But Rashad Bateman, right now, he didn't practice Tuesday. We're going to wait on news about him Wednesday. If he's back in, then that's a big help for them to stretch the ball down the field. He had 2 touchdowns at the beginning of the season, both deep balls. He had a long of 75 and a long of 55. So they need Rashad Bateman to stretch the field. It will be definitely a big boost to this offense. But we're going to wait on news for him for today's practice on Wednesday. So if he is out, then we're going to Devin Duvernay. He's come in pretty solidly. Had a strong beginning of the season where he had 2 touchdowns in week 1, a touchdown in week 3. He was providing upside in week 5 against Cincinnati Bengals. So he has the potential to have a great game. Like I said, he's going to get rushes. He's going to get catches. He's going to be very creative with Devin Duvernay. So if Bateman is out, we can definitely go towards Devin Duvernay. He becomes more of a lock if Bateman is out. All right, let's go towards some more flex plays down here. Like I said, Russell Gage is going to be trending towards out, so we can stay away from him since he did not partake into practice on Tuesday. Julio Jones is trending towards playing. He becomes the number 3 wide receiver. We saw better usage from him in week 1. Hopefully he's 100% enough to play in this game and play solid amount of snaps. So that's going to be the question mark if you decide to play Julio Jones. If he is active for this game, is going to be how many snaps he's going to get. But if Gage is out, that's going to thrust Julio Jones into the number 3 wide receiver. So I definitely have to talk about him, and we do have to sprinkle him just a little bit if he's active and Russell Gage is out. Now, someone else we like at the flex will be Cade Otton. Cade Otton is going to be fine. He's the number 1 tight end now with Cameron Brate out. And as you can see, we have double-digit fantasy points in 2 out of the last 3 games since Cameron Brate has been out. So we see some upside here. Obviously, Tampa Bay has been struggling. And Cade Otton has just been a nice little safety net for Tom Brady to get the ball to. Tom Brady loves his tight ends. And Cade Otton, the rookie, is looking like someone that can be trustworthy. So I like Cade Otton, has some upside. He has a nice repeal with Tom Brady now. And with Cameron Brate out, we already know the connection between Tom Brady and the tight end position. All right. Rachaad White is someone to mention if they get in a bad game script. He is the guy that's going to get receptions as well. He saw 5 against Kansas City, 3 against Atlanta, 3 against Pittsburgh. He ran the ball a little bit more. That's pretty much to run the game out because it was a blowout and they kind of like gave up in that 4th quarter. That's why he got those 6 carries. So Rachaad White is more of a beneficiary as soon as Leonard Fournette is out. But right now, they're going to lean on Leonard Fournette until he gets injured. All right. Next guy we're going to stay away from Kenyon Drake at 4,600. He is the number 2 back in this backfield. And then number 3 is Justice Hill, but he had a fumble last week, so they might temper him down just a tad, but they do use him in pass catching situations. But this is a team that doesn't throw to the running back, so we want to stay away from that as well. If we're looking at kickers and defenses, we're going to clear out more of these guys. Both kickers are going to be viable in this game. I can see both of these teams moving the ball, struggling to get in the end zone. They do have pretty solid defenses, and for defensive purposes, I think I could play both. We have a problem with Lamar Jackson turning the ball over in key situations, and then Ravens defense has been playing solidly. They can get to Tom Brady, cause havoc, especially with that hampered offensive line. And just the way they've been playing lately has been very, very poor. If we're looking at this Ravens defense here, they've been playing pretty solid defense, not allowing that many points to their previous opponents. Very different than what we saw at the beginning of the season, where they gave up 42 to the Dolphins. They gave up 26 to the Patriots, but then they turned things around that Bills-Bengals game. Bills, they only allowed 23, and that's a high-powered offense. They only allowed 17 to the Bengals, 24 to the Giants, 20 to the Browns, and now they're going up against the Buccaneers, struggling Buccaneers in this game. So I can see some turnovers that can be created from this Baltimore heavy blitz defense here. I don't mind going that route, and I don't mind going the Buccaneers route, because Lamar Jackson has been given that football up, and if that can turn into a touchdown, that's definitely some high upside there. So both kickers and defenses are going to be viable in this game. I don't expect this to be a super high scoring affair as well. So very defensive is going to be key for defenses and kickers in this Thursday night football game, and that's pretty much been the story throughout Thursday night football all year long. A lot of unders have been hitting. So next guy we're going to look at, Scotty Miller becomes more of a factor in the wide receiver department. If Russell Gage is out, he's going to get a little bit more snaps. He can be a punt play at 3,200, so we'll mention him. We'll stay away from Demarcus Robinson. Isaiah Likely can be a factor. We haven't seen the explosion from him, but it can happen at a moment's notice. All right, we saw 4 targets from him against the Giants, 2 against Cincinnati, only 1 against Cleveland, but they are running a very high amount of 2 tight end sets, so Isaiah Likely is going to be a factor in this game, especially if Rashad Bateman is out. So we're really waiting on news on that key outage. And if we're looking anything below him, Brashard Perriman is a number 4 wide receiver, but he hasn't been getting snaps as of late. He needs more injuries for him to get play. But definitely, if you sacrifice enough salary up top and you just needed someone to throw in that has some upside, Brashard Perriman definitely can take the top off his defense. He still has that speed, and anyone lower than that, we're going to stay away from in this build between the Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're going to finish this out. We're going to lock in the guys we're going to have in each and every one of our lineups. We're going to start off with Lamar Jackson. We're going to start off, definitely have to have him. I expect Mark Andrews to bounce back. I love Chris Godwin in this game, and I do see Leonard Fournette being a big workhorse. Okay, so I want the guys with a lot of touches. So we're going to build all our lineups around these 4 guys, and then going to save some salary in other places, all right? So we love Lamar Jackson. I think Mark Andrews is going to bounce back. Chris Godwin, he's getting a high volume of targets. And Leonard Fournette is getting a ton of touches, all right? 20-plus touches a game from Leonard Fournette, all right? And that's what we're going to go with. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD. And I'll be back with another video very soon, all right? Peace out.